Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me again on another night of Make It With Me Monday, June 13th. This is our 68th gathering, which is, these numbers are getting kind of crazy. It's hard to imagine we've been doing this so long, but I love being here with you. Every Monday night. I miss the fact that we can't get together and gather and stamp in person, so this at least gives me a feeling that we're still stamping together and connecting and oohing and eyeing over fun things about stamps and ink and paper. Before we get started tonight, I wanted to remind you that there's a class available out there. Sign up is due by tomorrow. You'll get a half a package of the Butterfly Designer Series paper and half a package of little flower gems that match the color palette, and then the materials to make these 6 cards that you see here. You'll have to just supply a phrase or whatever you want to fit into those white circles. So you'll have everything else cut and prepped and ready for you. And the cuts for this will come out of your half of the pack. So you'll receive some completely whole sheets and some that have been used a little bit on the projects that you're making. If you go to the Facebook page, you should be able to see the registration link is up right at the top, pinned there. And if you could sign up by tomorrow, that would be great. I want to get that order for supplies in before I leave for vacation. And then as soon as I'm back, I will be chopping it, and getting them out the door for you. So speaking of vacation, I will be leaving Friday and we'll be gone through Sunday the 26th, if I'm having my dates correct. I have a whole bunch of stuff lined up to go live on the page. You'll see lots of pre-recorded videos. Hi Kathy, good to see you tonight. You'll see some pre-recorded videos, tips and techniques and all the stuff that you're used to seeing from me. And then the next 2 Mondays, I'll have pre-recorded our Make It With Me Monday session, just in case. I know I will be back by the 27th, but I have a feeling we're going to be a little jet lagged, and I'm not sure how conscious I'm going to be at 6:30 on Monday the 27th. So the next 2 weeks will be pre-recorded, but you'll see everything get posted, and then the links for the videos will go live, and you'll see them there. Hi Karen, good to see you today. All right, so let's get started with what you needed for tonight's Make It With Me Monday. You needed a piece of cardstock that is a 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. Hi Mary Lynn, good to see ya. Scored at 4 1/4, and then a same color cardstock. You need a piece that's 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. I'm going to be using Night of Navy for both of those. DSP that is 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to be using that vertically. So if you had something directional, you wanted to make sure to cut it that way. My paper tonight comes from the Sun Prints DSP. You needed another piece of Designer Series paper, or you could have taken a piece of cardstock and then either another color and then stamped it or embossed it or something else, just to have a little bit of difference between these 2 layers. This again still comes from the Sun Prints, and that was 3 by 4. And then lastly, you need a circle approximately 2 inches done out of neutral cardstock, and that's for you to stamp your image, phrase, etc., your kind of focal point part for the front of your card. All right, so speaking of the stamping, let's just go ahead and get that done. The stamp set I'm using tonight is Nature's Prints, and it coordinates with that Sun Prints Designer Series paper. Lots of great colors and lots of fun elements like ferns, and these remind me of dandelion. I believe they are dandelions, like when they're in their wisher form, so to speak. That's part there. All right, I'm going to be using my Night of Navy ink. So Night of Navy ink. There we go. So everything's going to be very monochromatic on my card tonight. And since I want to stamp just in navy with both of my image and my phrase, I'm going to stamp off my image first so that I get a lighter impression. And there is my fern, flower elements, whatever we want to call that. I'm never sure. I'm not really good at the floral and fauna stuff to know exactly what it's called. And then I'm going to put my hello there, right up there. Okay, close that up before I stick too many fingers in it. All right, now all you need to do is assembly, and this should go really super quick. You're just going to take your card base, and remember, if you have a dark card base and you want to be able to write or stamp something on the inside, you're going to grab a neutral piece of cardstock that's 4 by 5 1/4, and then put that on the inside so you can stamp or write or whatever you want to do in there. All right, then take that 4 by 5 1/4 Designer Series paper, and we're going to go ahead and add our adhesive, and that's going to go on right there. And then as you may guess, those other two parts are going to layer together. So you're going to take your 3x4 and put it on top of your 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And again, remember, if you use something directionally, make sure you're going the right way. Although with this layout, it would be very easy to just turn it and rotate it and make it into a landscape instead of portrait. Okay, at this point, you should decide if you want to have this layer popped up or not. It's going to go right in the middle there. I'm just going to go ahead and adhere everything down flat on these. And the rest of some of my other samples have them raised up, so I'll show you what that looks like too. So you could put this on dimensionals, or you can just tape it directly down. And for the last part for my element, I am going to pop that up because I do always like just a little bit of dimension on my project. So like I said, I'm going to have dimensionals on the back of that guy. And you can kind of decide where you want this to end up. I'm going to go lower right corner, I think. You could do dead center, off to a side, still centered top to bottom. Whatever you think looks good with what you're working with. Consider what you've got going on this layer. If there's something that you don't want to cover up and you want to have showing off, then move your circle shape accordingly. And you know, I usually, oh hi Jessie, good to see you tonight. I do usually pick circles because I figure a lot of people have circle punches, circle dies, that kind of thing. But keep in mind, you could always change this up into a different shape. If you've got some other sort of die cut, a label shaped punch or something like that, you can always change that up and into something else. I usually just pick circles because they're pretty standard, and I'm kind of hoping that everybody's got one of those handy. All right, so while you guys are finishing up, I'll show you a couple other samples. Very similar in layout and in feel. I still used the Nature's Prints. You can see my flower is here and the phrase is up here. This is done in early evergreen, and in vanilla is my navy, or my, I was reading your comment, Karen. The vanilla is my neutral. There we go. And I have Pretty Prints designer series paper, so kind of similar to the Nature's Prints in just a couple different colors. I have the in color opal rounds, and I have a little bit of my evergreen ribbon up there. And I used a die from the layering circles to get my, what do we call it? Scalloped. There we go. Scalloped die look. All right, on this one, there's actually no stamping done on this one. This is the He's the Man designer series paper collection. And as part of that designer series paper, you get a couple of sheets in there that have all these die cut images on them. So they're punch out. They're already set to go. All you need to do is punch them out and use them. So I used one that was from here, which is this Best Dad Award shape. This is a really, really fun pack to have on hand. Coordinates with the He's the Man set. But honestly, I have just gotten the DSP and I am working nicely with it with everything else that I have. So I love the patterns that they've chosen for here. And I love that set of just punch out and go focal points. Makes it really, really easy to put something together quick. All right, and then lastly, before I get to the stepped up version, this one here is from Quiet Meadow. And I actually have the perfectly penciled DSP, which comes black and white. And then I have colored it. I took my blending brushes in Papaya and in Soft Succulent, and I went over and colored in the flowers and the leaf patterns and that sort of thing. I wanted to have just that color focus and just nothing in the neutral actually. So my neutral isn't even neutral here. I used the succulent all the way through because I just like the way that those two colors landed together. And then I used some of those sea glass shapes. The color is just perfect, matches the succulent really nicely. So those sea glass shapes are on there to fill in the flower middles. All right, let me move these to the side and I'll show you my stepped up version of what I did on camera tonight. Basically very similar as you can see. I did add an extra layer of white behind my DSP here. So there's a layer of white between that and the navy to kind of pop that out. I added some ribbon behind, just to add a little bit more, it's a little glitz glamour. It's got rhinestones, or it's glitter ribbon. So there's a little sparkle to it when you have it to play with. And it comes in this white color. All right, and again, everything's popped up. So I popped up the layer and I popped up the piece here. Otherwise, I think everything is pretty similar. Not a whole lot of extra to that one. I think the DSPs do a lot of work all on their own, and I didn't want to distract from how fun those are to play with. All right, so there are those for tonight, and I'm going to bring in one more, which is the inspiration sample that I got in a swap from Amy Notch. Again, this is the He's the Man designer series paper. And what I thought was so cute is she took the stamp and she added rhinestones into where the headlights of the car are. I thought that was really fun. So, and it says happy birthday to a classic. All right, everybody, there you go. That is it for tonight. Remember, if you want to do that butterfly class, please try to get signed up by tomorrow. I want to put the order in, like I said, before I leave for vacation. And then as soon as I get back, I will be chopping that all up and have it ready for pickup and or mailing out to you guys if you're not local to me. Again, the next couple weeks, you'll see lots of things. Kathy, I'm really looking forward to this one. A couple years ago, my husband and I were supposed to take a Mediterranean cruise, and it was a very extensive one, but it got canceled because of COVID. And so we had cruise credit to use up, and we're taking a mini version of what we'd had there. So we're going to start in Barcelona, and we're stopping somewhere else in Spain, somewhere in France, a couple stops in Italy, and then back to Barcelona. So we're going to cover the western part of the Mediterranean that we missed the first time around there. And we hope to get to the other side, because I love Greece and Greek culture, Greek whatever, and I'm really, really excited to get there someday. But this little one trip is going to check a few things off our bucket list. We're going to be able to see Rome and Pisa and Pompeii and some other fun stuff, and some pretty coastal cities in France and in Spain. So looking forward to this trip. And like I said, everything is going to be popping up as normal. As you see on the Facebook page, I have all kinds of stuff ready and set to go with some tips and tricks videos, the Fun Fold Friday, all that good stuff. And then the 2 Monday videos will post when it's time, and you'll be able to see those when they're supposed to be there on our normal Mondays at 6:30. So I will see you guys live in a couple weeks again. I miss being with you then, but I hope that you'll get enough inspiration off of what I'm posting while I'm gone. So look forward to seeing you live in a couple weeks, and everybody take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.